Hello fans, welcome to another episode of Crapbox Cars. Today we are doing a bunch of work to prep this Jones, the big old 351, to fit inside the Corolla, including, we're going to test fit it in there to the airplane. Joys of living on an airport, right? This is going to be part 2 of prepping the Corolla for the 351. There's just so much stuff we did, so this is just going to be another hodgepodge of stuff like last week, but now we're actually going to be ready to put this in next week for next week's video. So,
hey, what's up, fans? So we are going to be editing our Edelbrock carburetor so then it can take on more boost than 8 pounds, because stock, these brass floats, which you can see are just brazed together, not very great. These under over 8 pounds will just compress, which I'll grab an old one. We'll just do this. And then what happens is they usually pop at the seam and they fill it with fuel and sink. So then it ends up overloading the whole, all these float bowls with way too much fluid. And then it goes, oh no, it's leaking and all that nonsense. We need to seal the carb way better, which means the accelerator pump here, accelerator pump needs this right here. Basically, it's a marine pump, so then in marine application, so when water just gets on it a little bit, it doesn't leak in there. We're going to do the same thing, but for the opposite reason of air exiting out. So between that, we're going to be good. And the fix for these floats is using these nylon floats. I had to braze a little bit there, but this one I could fold up. And those don't pop or break, so we're gonna use those, and hopefully this runs pretty mint. So right now, fans, I'm brazing on some more of these, so then when we do some forced turns, we don't have the fuel going all over the place.
like in our in the video of our driving on the public road, where every time you saw a turn, she died. It's because those baffles were bad.
Well, the baffles we didn't have good ones.
Yes, they were bad. Well, now you're baffling them.
I'm baffled. We have a marine accelerator pump. We have plastic floats. And we're just gonna see, we just left the jets the same size because we don't know, I do not know what size to make it.
So we're just gonna say, send it.
Well, with the 302, the AFR gauge was a little on the rich side, which was great because that was without boost. So we were hitting like 12.5 when really we want like 13.5. It works out rather well because when your boost hits, you need more fuel. Alrighty, boys and girls, followers of the Crapbox channel.
Fellow crappers.
Yes, fellow crappers. This bell housing, bad on many levels. One, I got this, see the 75? I haggled him to 50. Well, I guess that wasn't very good because this one was stripped, this one was stripped. So, if you look at this side, it also happens to match our clutch. So, I assume that the guy had it on a clutch side and just cranked the nuts out of it because he had a clutch on that side of hydraulic slave cylinder as well. Then, in our seizing of engine and trying to start it with the starter went yuck and broke the bell housing as well. Look at this.
You guys can see there's a nice
solid crack. So, mostly because of this. But, between these and that, mostly that, we went, hey, new bell housing, so... Hey John, what are you doing?
I am soundproofing and making our icky dicky trans tunnel a little more safe, apparently. Grant's words, not mine. So I'm under here sticking these big yummy stickers on here, but they're not.
Alright, so
I wasn't done talking.
He wasn't done, but I just stepped in the oil.
What did you do?
I stepped in oil. Anyway, fans, we got this is sound deafening stuff. It's like tar with a big old sticker on the back. Yeah, big adhesive on the back. So you see how it is. Anyway, it'll help. It'll absorb a lot of It'll absorb heat. It'll block the heat from the trans tunnel. It'll also,
I'll make it stronger. I'll make it better.
It'll just be better, make it look nicer, and it'll stop some scary noises coming up from the bottom.
And it'll stop the T5 from exploding into our leg.
Yeah, what he said. Hopefully the T5 doesn't explode through our leg.
It will though.
It will not. Transmissions don't do that.
All right, time to.
Anyway, we have the 351 out, up on the chains. Going to attach it to that transmission soon, but we're gonna do a little test fit once John is out of there.
So fans, we got the engine kind of in now, but we're having a little bit of a sizing issue here.
Yeah, so the old 302 oil pan fit good. It's much shallower, and that oil pan was made for a car. We have a truck oil pan on this 351. So oil pan heading right in here. The oil, because the engine is bigger, it wants a bigger oil pan, and it's a truck one, so it's even bigger in the back. So what we're gonna do is swap it. The oil pump with a big old straw to the screen that goes in the back here. So essentially what we wanna do is, I wish we could just swap.
You swap,
oil pan.
flip the oil pan around.
We flip the oil pan around, but we can't really do that because there's certain size requirements and things like that. So what we gotta do is we're gonna cut this straw and create shorter and cut at each one of these lines and take this small section, put it on this side, and take this big section and put it on this side. So to create this. So this is the front of the engine, this is the back, with the oil pump being shortened. And the big thing to remember in this is that the dipstick here is not gonna measure correctly, so that has to be changed. And you have to make sure you have enough here so that their oil is not against the bearing, because the oil has to sit below it. You don't want any of your bearings to actually be in the oil wash.
Yeah, so when we launch this stuff and it starts sloshing backwards.
Yeah, so we still have to have some depth here, but as long as we keep the same amount of depth as in the front originally, we should be okay.
So essentially, we're gonna get a nice little cut, a little zoom, and a little zing.
Yes, so right here, this flat is where the oil pump is. And then then you have the straw. I call it a straw. I don't know the actual name of it.
Pickup tube.
Pickup tube. Thank you.
What we got to replace on the Blazer, remember?
Yes, we have to pick up the oil pickup tube. Oil pickup tube goes down, up and around, sits right here, right in the front. Otherwise, we would notch it back like this, but it sits in the front.
With a big old hammer. Bam!
Or whatever. But we're probably going to have to utilize the old 302 pan as well, which is disgusting and chopped up together. So that one's probably gonna look worse because we're boogers. We make boogers.
We're doing all this precision welding with a MIG welder that plugs into a 120 volt.
Yeah, I mean, people can do really well with that, what we can't.
Grant, you cut it. I don't think that's gonna hold much oil there, Chief.
Alrighty, so this will fit. We have 1.5 inches between the bolts to this, and right now we're sitting exactly at 3 inches. So we have 1.5 inches to play with over here. And over here we have from the right side of this, we have infinite amount of room till basically the ground from the bottom of the car all the way to the floor.
So we're about to cut this Jones up, put that Jones here, and put that Jones there.
Yup, then we gotta worry about the straw, or the oil pickup tube.
Oh my, Grant.
So, look over here. This is an awkward shape. This is this, and it doesn't match at all over here. But we have this oil pan from the 302, which it fits perfectly. It's almost like it came out same old. Obviously it didn't because they're different sizes. But the front part is exactly the same as this. So we're gonna cut this much lower and just stack it on top.
Like a nice sleeve.
Yeah, a nice sleeve basically, yeah. So then to extend it, any parts that we're missing, because, you know, cutting away there, we're gonna lose some lacking here, probably some there, and the height that we need, we'll just have to add probably a little bit on each side here. But it'll make it nice and easy. It's not gonna be an awkward shape because we're just gonna make it taller, but the same shape. So it'll just be a flat piece. Boom! That's gonna fit pretty damn good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it, Chief?
There's some missing parts, but we're good. We got some sheet metal back there, remember?
You have a whole bunch of sheet metal. It's called this oil pan.
That too. Alright, fans, so you saw the big 2 holes here. Point is to move this right here. We're gonna try to get
here and here pretty much.
Yeah, this to here, and trying to get this to be lower this way. So I guess higher in this case.
I think I know what you're thinking. You're saying give this a cut.
Yes.
Give this a cut. Give that a cut, and then bonk.
Essentially, yes. It's pretty mint.
That's quite mint, dude. I think that'll work. That's a lot less sketchy than I originally expected it to be. But also I haven't seen the welds yet.
Looks pretty mint.
Ho! She fits?
What? Oh, we got room to spare. The top of it is right there. I mean the bottom. Bottom's right there, so we got a little good bit of, so it's right almost at the lowest point, which is fantastic. And what is great is that it's magnetized. The oil drain is right near it. You know, picks up all that crap before it goes in. So we're gonna grind this down so we can get some nice welds in there. Put it back on, tack it, and then weld away. Alrighty, so I just cleaned up the whole oil pan so we can grind and get some fresh welds. So we just did a flat bottom. John just traced that out, so we're gonna tack it right now. And then he made it big, so we can just pound on it a little bit to get it nice.
To get a nice wrap on it.
Yeah.
You could definitely put some oil in there. If not oil, definitely mail.
Gotta put the mail in. Little janky.
Now that looks better. That's more like what I expected this to look like.
It looks so bad. I love it.
Custom oil pans. Come get them at Crapbox Fabrication.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go test it. Let's see if it's worth it. So we know it fits over this, right?
Yep.
All right. Now I want to go test it on the car?
Shit. Yeah. Oh, that's mint for days.
Is it mint? Let's see. Yeah, you're like 3 inches above it. 4 inches above it.
Now how about the front?
Oh, bro. You're so good. You got miles of room.
So we may cut this off and put a big square and then put a big oil pump in.
Right.
Yeah.
All right,
Or
fans.
we can do that from the bottom, which is cool.
Now that we are finishing up that, we're just gonna button that up, re-weld that, and perfect that on our own off camera, cause no point in showing you all that.
We'll show you when it's done.
I believe it is time to end preparing the Corolla video. Think she's ready for her 351.
Yeah, once that thing's done, I think everything will fit great.
Yeah, it should be sick. Now we just gotta wait for this turbo still.
Oh God. Yes. More waiting for turbo.
Hopefully next week we'll either have a new video for you. It'll either be putting this guy in, making Trixie's engine into a table like we did Sam's engine, or maybe that LS we might have a little in touch with that.
Might have more done with that.
Which you guys don't know about yet, but you soon will. All right. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have a new video for you next week. And if you like this video, you'll get a kiss from the very sweaty baby Grant.